All right, you magnificent degenerates, settle in. I'm Uncle Bob, and you've stumbled into Books I Will Never Read Again. Today, we're dissecting a book so hyped up on TikTok, it's gotta be hiding something truly, monumentally moronic. Yep, we're diving into the shallow end of the gene pool with Fourth Wing. Right off the bat, the book opens with the line, "I'm so fucked." And you know what? It's the most honest, the most insightful, and frankly, the best written sentence in this entire 500-page slog. It's this beautiful, fleeting moment of self-awareness before the author just cannonballs into a swimming pool of cliches filled with lukewarm cheese. So who is this self-proclaimed fucked person? Well, meet Violet Sorrengail, our protagonist. We're told she is so fragile, so delicate that a stiff breeze could probably shatter her femur. She's the specialist of all the special snowflakes, and she's headed to a death school where cadets apparently drop dead on day one. And how long did our little porcelain doll have to train for this meat grinder? A whole 6 months. 6! I've had cheeses in my fridge for longer than that. Yeah, see, this kid, our Violet, was supposed to be a scribe. You know, a safe, cozy life, surrounded by books. A punk-ass nerd, basically. But nope. Instead, she gets shoved into the Riders Quadrant. Think Top Gun, but with dragons and a 90% chance of being turned into a well-done steak. And who, you might ask, is behind this brilliant piece of parenting? Oh, that would be Mommy Dearest, General Sorrengail. Her entire parenting philosophy seems to be cribbed directly from the How to Be a Cartoon Villain handbook. So get this, her other daughter, the one who is actually a competent human being, is begging her not to send poor, fragile Violet to her certain death. And Mom hits her with this little gem of maternal warmth. I loved your father, but he's dead. Wow, that's not a person, that's a walking refrigerator with a bad attitude. Does she channel ice or just pure distilled spite? My money's on the spite. Oh, and the emotional support in this family is just, it's top-notch. The general drops this little motivational nugget about Violet. If any of my children is capable of surviving, it's her. That's not a compliment. That's the kind of thing you say to a hamster right before you put it in one of those plastic balls and kick it down a flight of stairs. It's encouragement with a body count. So, what's the first big challenge for our little bookworm? A wobbly bridge. A bridge so contrived, so mind-numbingly idiotic, its only purpose is to be a plot device. They call it the parapet. I call it a bridge too stupid. And here, folks, the author kindly lays out her patented 4-step guide for manufacturing fake drama. Step 1, build a really high, stupidly narrow bridge. Step 2, make it rain. Of course it's raining, you piss clown. It's always raining. Step 3, throw in a random, foaming-at-the-mouth bully for no reason. And the grand finale, Step 4, have your hero, while teetering over certain death, recite trade agreements. I am not making this up. While some homicidal moron is breathing down her neck on a wet, windy, rickety death trap, she's thinking, the trade agreement of her son? What? Are you kidding me? What kind of void-brained cheese blockhead thinks about economic policy while trying not to become a stain on the rocks below? This isn't a character, this is a lobotomized coat rack with an economics textbook jammed in its skull. Honestly, at this point, the only thing that could possibly make this scene more of a trope-filled dumpster fire is if a dragon just swooped in out of nowhere. But hey, don't you worry your pretty little heads about it. That's coming. All right, so our hero has somehow survived her first encounter with poorly written danger. So what's her reward? It's time to meet the man-meat, a whole smorgasbord of hunks who exist for the sole purpose of gazing broodingly in her general direction. And the man menu is about as predictable as a hangover after a bottle of tequila. In one corner, you've got Dane Atos, the childhood friend, the human napkin, the guy who just wants to rob her in bubble wrap. And in the other corner, Xaden Ryerson, the brooding bad boy, the walking cliché, the guy who's mysterious because the author hasn't given him a personality yet. It's the most paint-by-numbers love triangle I've seen since the last YA book I used as kindling. And how, you ask, is our resident bad boy described? Oh, with the kind of poetic genius you'd expect from a sentient cheese grater that just discovered thesaurus.com. Flaming hot, scorching hot, gets you into trouble and you like it level of hot. My God, it physically hurts to read that. It's like my brain is trying to reject the words. That isn't writing, that's a cry for help. All right, let's get to the real juicy part of this disaster. This is the moment where the universe stops just kind of nudging the plot in our hero's favor and decides to bend over backward, grab its ankles, and scream, "I'm yours!" So I'm going to ask you, the intelligent people watching this, a simple question. How many dragons does the weakest, most unprepared, history-spouting, fragile little cadet in the entire academy manage to bond with? Go on, take a wild guess. 2. Of course the answer is 2. Not 1, but 2. And is one of them by any chance the single most powerful and feared dragon in existence? You bet your sweet ass it is. This isn't a story anymore. This is a power fantasy written by a 14-year-old on a massive sugar high. I mean, just look at this. These are majestic, mythical beasts, ancient and powerful, and they get stuck with this knuckle dragger? You can almost hear them talking to each other. Like, seriously? Her? The one who almost fell off a bridge because she was thinking about lumber tariffs? This is what we get? And the justification. Oh, the justification is just the rancid cherry on top of this crap sundae. The big, scary dragon actually tells her strength of courage is more important than physical strength. Oh, get out of here with that. That is the laziest writing cop-out since it was all just a dream. It's the participation trophy of character development. So what's the final verdict on Fourth Wing? It's really simple, folks. Burn after reading. Let's just quickly run down the catalog of sins, shall we? We've got a protagonist with a terminal case of specialitis. We've got exposition delivered via word vomit, and that's the book's own term. We have a love triangle so obvious you can see it from the International Space Station. The world's building feels like a history textbook that someone spilled a smoothie on. And the plot armor, my God, the plot armor is thicker than a dragon's hide wrapped in 6 feet of concrete. And of course, we can't leave without mentioning the battle cry of every not-like-the-other-guy's bad boy in the history of literature. Mr. Scorching Hot himself looks our little hero dead in the eyes and utters the immortal words, "Don't fall for me." Buddy, after reading your dialogue, that is the easiest promise anyone will ever have to make. Which I guess brings us to the real question here, the big one. Why settle for art when you can have content? When you can just have this algorithmic, trope-stuffed, pandering bowl of lukewarm oatmeal? So to Fourth Wing and its author, I really only have one thing left to say. Buzz off, you silly goose.